Good evening, everyone. So it's the Devonshire Shepherdess here, and I wanted to just jump on today because this was an idea I had for a video yesterday, and I was just wondering how many of us who are in farming actually consider ourselves already to be millionaires. Because there's a saying within farming community that for those of us who own our land, so whether that's a few acres to 100 acres, we are actually we are actually normally in the we are millionaires, because just recently some ground close to us sold for £16,000 an acre. So when you put that to 200 acres, that's quite a lot of money. But what I realised just last year, I think, when I was thinking about this, is I've never really seen us as being millionaires because the bank account doesn't look that way. And if you look at as well the assets we have normally walking around on four legs, that's a financial asset right there. That's why we're always trying to keep them alive, to have that end product to produce good food. So actually, when it comes to on paper farming, we are all multi-millionaires. A lot of us who are in this industry. But I realised that I never used to think like that because I was always looking at what was not in the bank account. So because we weren't turning over millions every year, I never saw us as millionaires. And so now I look at it differently. So I'm up leveling my thinking to be able to create a business that will maybe one day bring in millions, but for right now, I would just like it to be able to bring in enough that we can pay the bills and start to reinvest into new things and new elements within our farming business that we want to bring in, because that's kind of key at the moment. Investment into new technology is one of the things that I would love to do. Looking at investing in seeds and reseeding more of the ground and spending more money on being able to, condition the soil and those kind of things. So I just wanted to come on and ask you, do you see yourself as a millionaire? As a person in farming? Because we are, but the issue is, and this is really sad, because one of the things that really hurts me, because I'm from a small family farm, is when people jump onto posts about farmers and they'll say underneath the comments, all these family farms just need to sell up and get out because they're no good and they're not investing in the right things and they're not looking after the environment because they're just stuck in their ways. I literally saw a post this week where, for whatever reason, a farmer, or maybe it wasn't even a farmer, who knows, somebody had dumped some slurry in a ditch, and all the comments underneath were like, this is so bad, and there was this one guy basically saying that all small family farms should just give up because we aren't good enough and we're not doing these things. But actually we are. So we are still a small family farm here. We've got 200 acres. We run 50 cows. Currently we've only got 50 lambing sheep. We've got 50 sheep coming up behind, but we will go up to 200 sheep at one point. We've never scaled. We call it the big farming wheel, where farmers have gotten so big that their inputs are actually exceeding their output. And that is actually the case for nearly all farmers, no matter what size. And just this afternoon, we were discussing about, if we had more things now to sell in the spring, then we would have to spread fertilizer, or we'd have to have the cows inside to, and then we'd have to spend more money on straw. So the inputs are always exceeding the outputs on nearly all systems at the moment. And that is where the challenge is. We've got to start thinking outside the box. We've got to start thinking differently. We've got to start using, up here, this. We can't just keep going outside and doing the same old things and expecting a different result. I was going to say Arnold Schwarzenegger. No. Albert Einstein said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if we carry on doing the same thing over and over again and think that something different is going to happen and it doesn't, then does that mean we're insane? I'm not sure. I'm not putting that label on anyone, but I personally would say that I know that the changes we are making, and we are by no means like there yet at all, but the changes we are making are massive. And for many in my family, it is daunting for them because they're like, oh, have we made the right decisions and da 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 da. But I know in my heart of hearts that we are on the right track. And I know that we are going in the right direction, even though it seems and feels to be the opposite to nearly all of our farming friends and family. I said to my husband over the weekend, I feel really sad that I don't know any other farming women who think like I do, because I do think outside the box. I do think on a entrepreneurial level. Like, I'm like, how can we make this work? How can we make it simpler for us? I want to earn money on this farm doing less hours, like, because I've got Hayley and she is like my prime focus really until she's grown up. So I have her now for another 6 years, maybe. She's 8 at the moment, where I need to spend more time with her. And then in like those 6 years' times, I can change over and do whatever I want home here. But right now, I need to run this business so that I have more time for her. But I also don't want this business going under whilst I'm out over here trying to help her. So the ideas and the things I come up with, although they sound crazy sometimes, luckily my parents seem to partner with crazy and my husband, and it works, and it is working. When we are seeing a difference, this year will be interesting because we are in this process where we are weaning the ground off of using artificial fertilizer. So we might either see that it will grow right up because it's like, wow, this is brilliant, or it's gonna plateau again because it's going to take that little bit of time. We can't just expect to spread artificial fertilizer on our soil for the last 60 years and then take it away and expect it to be magically made better, because I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. But I would like to think that in the next few years, at least, that we are growing more grass and all those kind of things. And I believe that that's a way we can save money. Improving our soil is a huge way we're going to be able to save money. Because if we can outwinter more cattle because we've got more soil structure, we've got a better soil structure, then we won't need to have them inside and on straw for longer, long periods of time. We might just have to bring them in for a few weeks if it's like constant rain or something. But for a greater proportion of the time, we can keep them out grazing, and that will make the quality of their life better because they're on fresh grass rather than silage or hay that we've grown in the summer. So like there's this whole bigger plan, but we have to do the steps to it. We can't just go from, oh, I want this to happen. I want the soil structure to be amazing. I want it to be like a big sponge and hold itself up and be able to hold water and do all these things. That's what I'd love. I'd love for that to happen. But why would nature respond like that to me? Unless I've done a lot of work in the last 20 years leading to this point. It's not going to. We've done a lot of work in the last 10 years of like weaning off the artificial fertilizer side of it. And we are putting in paddocks to graze our cattle, to extend our grazing, to have more grass to graze. We are then able to rest the soil as well. So the plants are then able to grow roots, and all these lovely, amazing things can happen, but it's time and motion. But for me, I'm the one that holds it steady. Like I know this is right. I know in my heart of hearts, this is right for us and what we need to be doing right now on our farm in order for all of us to have a good life, regardless of what the bank balance looks like. And this is kind of like my real message to farmers at the moment. Like, we are so important to this industry, and particularly us smaller farmers who are generational farmers. I'm a 5th generation farmer on this particular farm. I could be 10 generations for all I know, but I'm definitely 5. So I'm 5th generation farmer, and that is really, really precious. And I don't want to see it that we're the ones that are in the minority, because we have the skills, we have the knowledge, and we've just got to find it. We've just got to go back a little bit and find kind of those roots that we've got, and being in touch with our environment and being in touch with nature and all those things as farmers. That's kind of like ingrained in me. It's and I never really noticed it till now. So this is my message to you today. Are you thinking like a multimillionaire or not? You know, that is the question, because for many of us who have got owned land and animals roaming around it, we are multimillionaires. And if we need to up level our thinking to be able to get us thinking like a multimillionaire and creating more of an income, then that is where it's key at the moment, you know, to kind of honour all this other stuff that's being put on us all the time, to have a better environment and produce good food and all those things, all the things that I love, like I want to do. And I completely get the importance of that. So if anything has struck you today as like really interesting and you want to know more, I'll pop a link in the comments below, and you can just click on that and we can have a half an hour Zoom call, just you and I, and we can chat about what it is your vision is for your farming business and your family for 2023 and beyond that, really, what you want to do, and also then what challenges you might come up against. So this is all kind of it's using a specific model that I've learned to use in the last couple of years to help me get forward in our business, but also to be able to be a mum and a friend and a wife and all those things as well. So if you want to know more, just click on the link and we can have a Zoom call, and I'd love to chat with you. Thanks for watching.